Hey there, guys. It's Liam Landry here with the Small Wrestling Alliance, giving you my review of the January 17th episode of NXT and tell you if it was worth it. Second week in a row from Atlanta. I definitely feel that this was filmed right after the first one because the crowd really seems out of it. They popped a little bit here and there, but for most of it, they weren't really there. They were there, uh, I guess the match they were there most for and popped most for was the first one, which was a tag match between Moss and Sabatelli versus the team of Heavy Machinery, and they popped because there was some comedic elements from Heavy Machinery, and the crowd was kind of getting behind that. But beyond that, the match wasn't spectacular. There was nothing really wrong with it, but there was nothing that great about it. It was kind of everything you expect. They Moss and Sabatelli end up winning via a leverage pin, which probably means that they will have these two teams will have more matches in the future, and that could be interesting. They could probably, given more time, do more things with it. But as for right now, it wasn't necessarily that worth it. Anyways, the next match is a match between Roderick Strong and Fabian Eichner, and this was a good match, best match of the night. Not really saying too much because it was kind of a weak night for matches, but it was still pretty good. The only problem was it really didn't feel like they developed anything for it. It just felt like a match to have a match, and no storylines came from it. There was no storytelling in the match. Not a lot of back and forth. Nothing too interesting for it. Though they did show they had really great chemistry together and worked really well. So they could have put on a better match. They just, I don't know, just weren't they weren't looking for that to be a great match. It was really just a chance for Roderick Strong to get a win and get out there and after the match calls out Lawler Sullivan. In a similar fashion, Lawler Sullivan called Killian Dane out. They probably will next week will have Killian Dane come out and have a match. Maybe call out both of them and they'll have a triple threat match at Takeover Philadelphia. Who knows? We'll see next week. But for the match itself, it was kind of worth it, but not really go out of your way worth it. So so if it had better matches around it, or even more equal matches, it would be worth it. But it doesn't. It's not good enough alone to make you come out and watch NXT. You know what I'm saying? Then after that, we have the a women's match between Lacey Evans and Aaliyah, and this, like a lot of the other ones, especially the last one, it's really just kind of a vehicle, and that vehicle was to do really two things. Number one is to debut the heel persona of Lacey Evans, which they did with her doing a lot of heel things in the match, and then after winning, cutting a heel promo and a lot of the other female talent in NXT. And then it was also there to further the rivalry between Shayna Blazer and Ember Moon. Because after the heel promo, Shayna came out, scared off Lacey Evans, and went in the ring and attacked Aaliyah, wanting to be scared off by Ember Moon, and then Ember Moon challenging her to a title match at NXT Philadelphia. And, once again, it's kind of just seeing the same thing we've been seeing for a few weeks. So while I'm anticipating the match, all this really just didn't seem worth it to me. Because, like I said, we've already seen all these things. We already seen her just go out and attack people and Ember Moon being upset about that. So it's really nothing too unique. Afterwards, we get a backstage interview with William Regal. He's being asked about the whole Shayna incident, and he says why he doesn't want to reward her for what she's doing. He still respects Ember Moon's decision to have a match with her, so that means the match is official. and is going to go ahead. But as they're talking about that, they're interrupted by Zelina Vega, who's, of course, the manager slash business partner of Adrian Almas, comes in and is basically talking down Johnny Gargano, saying that he's not really worthy of the spots. That would be an easy victory for Adrian Almas, and just saying he's not good enough, and saying that Velveteen Dream, who was originally supposed to be in Johnny Gargano's spot in the tournament, but because of injury couldn't make it, saying that he's a more worthy opponent, and saying that if Johnny Gargano really believes that he's all that and all, that he would put up his title shot opportunity against Velveteen Dream in a match. William Regal, of course, says, no, this is a bad idea, but after that, we get Johnny Gargano coming down to the ring and cutting the promo, saying that he will put his title opportunity in the match against Velveteen Dream. And while this was a really good promo itself, it's not. It didn't do much for his character, I felt, because it just showed that he's being manipulated. He's being easily manipulated, and I don't think that that's a good showing. Even one of the commentators, Nigel McGuinness, said, after the promo was over, that it looked like that out of everyone, Johnny Gargano lacked confidence in himself, and that's true. That's kind of what that promo kind of gave off, that he's very self-conscious about where he's at. And while it's been a very compelling story, and I can feel how people get behind him, it still feels like he's coming from too weak a place. So I think some of that weakness makes people appeal to him, but I think if you can go too far with that. So good promo, but I don't like what it does to his character. So after that, we have the final match, which is the number one contendership that's a match for the number one contendership for the NXT Tag Team Championship, and it's between the Authors of Pain and the Street Profits. And as anyone who guessed, the Authors of Pain end up winning. And this is a fine match, but once again, it didn't really do anything too spectacular. It was, very one-sided. All the Street Profits ended up getting in was a hot tag, really. They did get their finisher off, which they, updated. From instead of just being a spine buster and a splash, it became like a bringing up in the spine buster, and I think it was a drop kick, added to it. So nice to see them advance with that, but the pin from that got broken up, and Authors of Pain ended up winning. So it didn't feel like that great of a match, which was, the kind of the theme of the night. Though we're gonna have Authors of Pain versus the Undisputed Era. While this night wasn't that great, I still do feel very excited for TakeOver Philadelphia, and I think it will be good from everything that we've seen so far. But this night isn't really worth it. Hopefully the Go Home show next week will be worth it, but until then, see ya.